politics is transformed into an exclusive domain of the will to power. The reason we advance certain political projects is because they gratify our will to power. It is so clear, for example, that people like Foucault have taken a leaf from the book of Nietzsche here in their almost obsessive analysis of power as being somehow the marrow, the Urstoff of social and intellectual life. So I'd be inclined to say that this politics as the will to power becomes a sort of voluntarism. If you look at things like the writings of Sorel in the early part of the 20th century, or the writings of Camus and Sartre and Heidegger and people like that, this arbitrary commitment, this ungrounded commitment, this willingness to just jump in and say, this is what I like, this is what I believe, this is what I will try and foster and advance, is all a result of this collapse of moral and political universality into the domain of the aesthetic, which means that everything, that at night all cows are black. And ultimately what that leads to is voluntarism, and what that leads is to chaotic politics, politics where you can't reason issues out, we can only fight them out. And of course that sort of chaos is very much Nietzsche's taste, because he thinks that we've become passive and tame and insipid, and we can finally improve our lot when we begin to do things on a heroic scale again, back past the age of Plato, back to the age of Homer almost. Nietzsche calls for a Homeric commitment, the possibility of doing something heroic. Sometimes you get heroism we might find praiseworthy, sometimes we get unpraiseworthy heroism, but at least it's heroic. It doesn't matter so much what they do as how they do it. There's the Nietzschean aesthetic and political theory. Now, connected with this idea is Freud's project, which I would say has been at least equally influential compared to Nietzsche's influence, and both of them run very deeply, are profoundly implicated in the thought of any contemporary thinker.